Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily spiritual podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kaustubha Das. Welcome to the show. Welcome to episode 1413. Sort of auspicious number. Maybe tomorrow, 1414. Here with Miss Mara, spinning the dials. Catherine A's here, and so is Bhakta Udi. We're just winding down over that long weekend with Dunya and Bali. And Kaustubha, welcome to the show yourself.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's Walk on Wednesday, Kaustubha.
It sure is.
And we've got one of a repeat Walk on Wednesday. And before we get to our very, very special guest, Walk on Wednesdays when we bring a special guest on, someone from our community.
Brain for 10 minutes.
Pick their brain for 10 minutes. Find out what they're up to, something interesting and cool. See if they're making any jellies or jams. And then, yeah, that's all. So we got one coming up, someone special. Mara, do you have any announcements first?
I do. Join Wisdom of the Sages at the beautiful Govardhan Eco Village for our Light on Wisdom training, January 12th through 24th.
We're all going to be there.
Yeah. If you ever wanted to have time away from the daily grind to learn yoga wisdom in depth and have all your questions answered in a supportive environment, this is an opportunity that can't be missed. Go to wisdomofthesages.com for more info and to register.
It's really quite wonderful.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about, you're going to be in LBI, Philly, Tom's River this weekend? You want to mention any of that? Or is it all sold out?
It's pretty much all sold out. I think Tom's River Thursday night, there's a few spaces left. And Friday, we're doing Kirtan in Philly with Haryashva at his Bhakti Garden. That's Saturday fun. 6-hour thing is all sold out. And we're doing the podcast live at Long Beach Island at Yoga Bohemia at 8 o'clock. The workshop. So if you're around this weekend in Jersey, Philly area, hope to connect. And
I'm
also
tempted to come down there Friday night just because you and Haryashva.
Me and Haryashva, that's a party, man.
Yeah, totally.
He's one of these. There's certain devotees. They're just sort of secret, pure devotees. That's what I call him. Secret. Like they're not making big announcements. They're not sitting on big chairs. They're just humble spreaders of the holy name.
And he's always having fun, Haryashva.
He's always having fun. Yeah. But by the way, speaking of having fun, I'm really excited for Mayapur. Right after, some people are going, well, Wisdom of the Sages thing it's not super long, and I want to stay longer in India. This is the request I'm getting. What do I do? Well, it ends on a Friday, the Wisdom of the Sages retreat in India. Then Saturday is the Flower Festival. Then Sunday, we have a day off, and Monday, boom, 1 week in Mayapur. And it's really, really wonderful. If you're into this stuff, if you're not just sort of browsing through, flicking through podcasts, but if you actually like, no, this is my path. This is my spiritual journey. I'm a Bhakti yoga. I'm a Bhakti yogi, Bhakti yogini. Then you're going to love the Mayapur trip. It's not that expensive and it's quite wonderful. And it's just so, I had such a good time last year, and Mayapur is really
this year was, yeah, but yeah.
That was this year, right? That's right. And then we do it in like end of January, February. So check out, that's on the Wisdom of the Sages website. Let's bring on our guest. She's your favorite jelly maker and mine, Yamuna Jelly, we call her, from Northern California. Welcome to the show, Yamuna.
Thank you so much, Raghu, Mara, Kaustubha. It's so great to be with you all this morning. Hare Krishna.
What's it like there in Northern California? She's got a little farm. She's got a little cafe. She makes you make all your jelly. You offer your jelly to Lord Krishna, and then you distribute it. She's got quite a thriving boutique business up there.
Yeah, definitely a lot going on for sure. We're in peak, I wouldn't say jelly season, but just since you've coined it that way, but for us, it's tomatoes right now.
Ooh.
So we're doing about 5,000 pounds of tomatoes a week.
We make tomato sauce?
Yeah, preserved tomatoes, tomato sauce, mostly just preserve the tomatoes right into the jars to use throughout the year.
Nice.
Oh wow, man, we thought we were doing good with tomatoes this year. She's got 5,000 pounds of
This is
tomatoes.
this is called Happy Girl Kitchen, right?
Yeah, but that's another thing.
Is it another thing? So how do you get the tomatoes? How do you purchase the tomatoes?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, yes, that's Happy Girl Kitchen. We could talk
Okay.
about that.
Okay. But you got this farm
Yeah,
also.
Oh, okay. There's a
yeah.
farm. You're a farmer also, and
This,
you do Happy Girl
yes.
Kitchen, which is the jelly jam making.
Yeah, I decided to go
In a
for like
restaurant.
real easy work, just taking the easy path.
Yeah, boy. Nothing's harder work than farming, except for restaurant, the restaurant boot. You're in both
Yeah,
the
that's
most
right. Those are the
difficult.
two hardest things.
Yeah,
So,
so I'm really excited to come on and talk about the farm's name is Bhakti Farms, and
Okay. Where's it located
it's
exactly?
we're right on the central coast of California, a place called Carmel Valley,
Gotcha.
that's beautiful.
about 2.5 hours south of San Francisco.
Hmm.
And the whole purpose behind this farm was Vaisheshika wanted ahimsa milk for the temple.
Right.
And so we had a very soft opening. We've had 2 cows for about a year and a half, Gayatri and Malati.
Oh.
And yeah, they're super sweet. It's like the best thing I've ever done with my life is get these cows for sure.
That is a
And
beautiful statement right there.
yeah, it's like when you find your nature, when you find really what you should be doing, that's how you feel. It's
You're
like,
a
oh, this
cowherd
is
boy.
it.
Yeah, you're a
That's your
gopi.
nature.
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's a wonderful service. It really has made me realize that whole position of being the servant of the servant. Because these cows, their milk is directly going to the deities at ISV and to the community there. And so I'm just serving them. And they're really like the supreme servants serving Krishna and the devotees.
Yeah.
So it's just
This
a very sweet, sweet service.
this is something that, bhakti yogis across America and different places are trying to do, where it's like, milk is such a central part of the whole bhakti culture, but unfortunately, our broader American culture doesn't recognize just how beautiful and precious these cows are. So they just, monetize the whole thing and really abuse and exploit the cows. So we're trying to keep the milk and all of the wonderful, real milk is incredibly nutritious. This, anyway, we won't get into a whole long thing, but if you got the real milk from a cow that's loved, it's an incredible resource. And the cows themselves are incredible resources and incredible people. And so we want to create farms where we really care for the cows, and then connect it with the temple so that it can be, all the offerings in the temple can be made with this ahimsa milk, you use the term, right? Milk that's
Yeah,
entirely free of violence.
Now, what about the
yeah,
dung? Do you fertilize with the dung?
definitely. The fruit trees are loving it.
For trees. Now, do you have to compost the dung first? You just put it right on.
We just put in a big pile for about 9 months.
Pile it up.
Pile it up,
Pile it up,
turn it
water it
around,
once in a while,
aerate it.
and then it should liquid gold.
There you go.
That's what they say. That's what they say. It's like a 80% better yield of all plants.
80%.
Yeah, it's like something magical. If you Google that, it's something magical when you use the composted manure. It's in one sense that's really the value too of the cow and the bull is the manure. Then of course there's fuel. You ever use the fuel? Ever use the dung for fuel? Let's
You won't
go
believe
there.
it, but I haven't yet.
Let's
I
do that. Let's
know.
dry it
I
out
mean,
and make some dung fires when I come over.
I know.
Okay.
There's so much you can do.
Yeah. Anyway,
So
what
how
are we
many,
talking
So,
about? What else are we
the
talking about
farm, like
today?
how many people are on that farm? How does it work?
Is it just you and like
okay,
a
well,
bunch of
here's
machines, or is it you and a bunch of workers?
neither. It's only 2 cows. And that's sort of my vision is I think that sometimes we think these things need to be really a big project.
Mhm.
My
Right.
goal is to show that it can be a small project and there should be many, many small projects.
Everyone could have a
And
cow in the backyard and taking good care of it.
even you, Kashtuba,
I don't know if I could.
No, you just should get a little one of those little mini juggernaut. There's a breed of cow that's really mini.
I call them
Size of a
low
dog.
riders.
Couldn't you see Kostuba having one just walking in the background there?
It's walking in the park.
we'll figure it out for sure. We'll make
take
it
to the
Here's
happen.
park
the
every day.
question for the cows. Here's the question I haven't had a devotee be able to answer yet. What do you do with the bull problem? Not a problem, but I know the bulls can be, become oxen, and that you use them for what we
Power.
use tractors for. It gets rid of all the fossil fuels, and they fertilize. But eventually, you have so many more bulls. What do you do then? It seems like the
So
herd
like everything
can't help
in
but
everything
expand,
in the material world is very complicated. And
isn't it?
so, you kind of point out a real complicated part of it. And there's bulls, like especially where you live, for helping in the forest. We lived on a farm in Sweden, in Almvix, and they use the bulls
yeah.
for, pulling the logs in the forest in the winter
That's
because the
huge.
snow is there and
Well,
it's
tractors can't
huge.
even get to them there.
They can't even get to them. So where we are, we're starting very slow. We've just rescued these cows from a local dairy, and we're starting very slow and thoughtful. And so we only have those 2 cows, and we will definitely, once you have bulls, oxen is the way to go. And then you've got to figure out an occupation for these oxen.
Yeah.
So, but most people think you need to breed cows every year and grow the herd really
No,
big.
no.
You don't have to do that at all.
Yeah,
Just
I
slow it
love
down.
I love the idea of keeping it small. Keeping
Keep
it
it small,
family.
keep it
It's like your
simple.
family cow.
How large is the
Yeah.
farm itself?
So we have 26 acres and there's hills and wooded area. And basically it's all for the cows. They love it. They have shade. They have their muscle development just since they've been hiking these hills since they came here is amazing. They're healthy, they're vital, they're eating all the different herbs and grasses that are growing on the property.
Just makes quality
We
milk.
also, oh my gosh. So from the jelly factory, I have like a cold press juicing operation. So we bring all the pulp
You have a
back
cold pressed
and
juice.
they just love,
What? You got that
they
too? A
love,
cold pressed juice
yeah.
company?
Yeah. Yeah. They just love eating the beet pulp and then their lips get all red and
Aw, like
rosy. And it's
lipstick on
just
the
so
cow.
fun. Right now it's pumpkin season. So a local farmer brought over sort of the bruised or the imperfect pumpkins.
I bet they love
And so
them.
they've been eating. Oh, they love them. And it's so fun watching them eat
Let's go visit
pumpkins.
Yamuna
Like I could
Jelly.
do that all day.
We want to come visit.
So I guess that's a point I wanted to bring up is it's just me and my husband and Krishna sent me the perfect person. His name is Gopal. I got to give him a huge shout out. His mom named him appropriately. He grew up in Mayapur and he's here. He's from New Zealand, but he's here and he helped us for the last 2 years get everything ready, do all the fencing, and he helps as well.
Jai Gopal.
Jai Gopal. And we are taking interns so people can come and stay for 2 months.
Oh, that's
and
smart.
It's
We're
very
doing that
rustic.
here too.
Yeah. Well, I think you do that there.
We're doing
in
it
a
right
very
now. We got
unofficial
2 of them
way.
on the couch right now.
So
Yeah,
someone could come
see?
there. You would have some room and board for them, I assume.
That's right. Yeah.
got a nice place to stay?
Yes, it's rustic and nice. And it can be seen as, someone taking a little hiatus from their
Life.
current
When she says
existence.
rustic, Raghunath, what do you imagine that means?
Simple.
Okay.
Simple.
Super simple. Little
Simple.
shack, place
Super
to sleep,
simple.
and place for your
Very-
yeah. That sounds
Very
great.
slow internet. You can do your Zoom on it, but you can't do any streaming. It's pretty tech free out here.
Good.
Very simple, rustic.
And how would
yeah.
they engage during the day?
So, just helping mostly with the cow care or maybe watering the
Little
fruit
harvesting.
trees.
Yeah, or watering. Yeah.
Yeah, we do with fire season, we're, making big bonfires, doing fire clearance.
No, we're gonna have to
That's
go
kind
for
of
that.
Yeah.
Loves a good
So-
fire.
My tractor with the grappler on it, moving those things around.
Yeah,
I'll
we
be
need
your
you to bring
farm
that
boy.
tractor out here.
Yeah. Well, it's awesome. Were we going to talk about Rathiatra? Or were we just talking about farm today? Because you were a big part in the LA Rathiatra last year.
That
coming
was this
down-
year.
That was this year, last year, last Rathiatra.
Well, we're already planning the next one, so that's why you're saying last year, because you're
Yes.
already on to the
I'm
next
already
one.
living for next August. We had a great time. And maybe we could all stop up
I'm
and
so-
do a big program at our place after Rathiatra. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm down. Of course, she would have to be
That
down.
would be- That would be fantastic. We have a large 30-foot yurt. That's our gathering space.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
She's got like a little Super Soul Farm West out there.
I think we should try to go up there after either before or after the LA Rath Theatre this next
Totally
year.
in. Totally in.
Let's talk about that,
We
Yumona.
would love that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
talk about it.
All right. And let's do a big jelly giveaway thing or a jelly drive this year, like we did for Christmas last year.
Oh, that would be fun. That would be fun. So
We
I
did
guess
for-
could I just say where they could find out information if they're
Yeah,
interested
please.
to
Please, how do they
apply for
contact
the
you?
apprenticeship? Yeah. Bhaktifarms.org is the website. And then I just started an Instagram account. I threw up 9 postings just like that. And so it's Bhakti Farms 108 on
Ooh, I'm
Instagram.
following
And
you right
All
now.
right.
Everybody get right now. Follow her right now. Bhakti Farms 108.
108.
get ready to just see cow videos. It's just, I'm like going to be that crazy cowgirl where I just have so much fun showing them eating all sorts of things or the way that they actually, I mean, the amazing thing is cows show each other so much affection
Oh,
when they bond in a loving way to each other. And they also show you affection. Anyway,
Bhakti
I
Farms
look forward to
108.
having you guys out and lots of visitors for sure.
All right, we're in. We're still trying to
Just-
piece together our December. Maybe
Just
we can have-
followed you there.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
thank
Can
you.
you follow her for me? Thanks. Thank
Oh,
you.
it looks like it's got some kind of scones there. Buttermilk biscuits.
Oh, those are buttermilk.
If you work on the
biscuits.
farm,
Oh,
do you get scones? That's the.
Oh, these
we
are
get-
these. Do you get are these brown Swiss cows?
we have one brown Swiss and one Jersey. I've heard Prabhupada's favorite cow was brown Swiss. That's what Shama Sundar says.
That's what the Gita Nagri
Nagri, brown Swiss.
herd was. I love the fact that you rescue them as well, because it's like they're going for slaughter, and you're just taking
Yeah.
them. Now, was it some type of vigilante rescue? Did you? Should we even talk about this? Did you like were it all black or Animal Liberation Front, or did you just sort of like say, "Listen, we're going to take your old cow"? How did that work?
Yeah,
How
the
did you
way that we
rescue?
do it, we go the sweet way and we make friends with the farmers. My idea is these guys, I want them, I'm bringing them prashadam. I want these farmers to be able to have a chance in their next life, right? It's like they
Mhm.
don't really know what they're doing. They're not
It's a
conscious.
dark.
So,
It's a dark occupation.
oh, it's such a dark industry. Oh,
It's
but we
it's dark. It's
befriended them.
clandestine. It's
Oh,
and it went from
we want to show
family
them
farm.
there's another way,
Yeah. You know what?
you
Beautiful.
know?
I love it. You know what?
Uh,
A lot of people who are into animal rights, they get into hating. In the
Yeah.
name of like, we need some peace, they turn into haters and they'll
You're
like,
doing it
I
in a
hate the
loving way.
farm. What's that?
She's doing it in a loving way.
Yeah, it's like those people who convince KKK members to
Right.
give up their robes and become, give up the
Yes.
hate. And then you see some people are fighting for anti-racist values, and they'll never forgive those people who are in the Ku Klux Klan.
Right.
We're all about forgiveness. We're all about we have the ability to change. So instead of hating the butchers, hating the farmers, oftentimes they just don't know, and then they hear some vegan hating on them, and they just dig their heels in deeper. It doesn't change the heart. The devotee or anyone with a soft heart, a spiritual heart, will see that this is a person. This is one of God's children also. And they're just don't know. And we educate and we instruct through love, not through shaming. We live in a world that tries to educate or change people through shame. Doesn't work in a family dynamic and definitely doesn't work in a social dynamic, right?
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you so
like,
much.
bring it in, give them a big hug, and then give them some prasadam. And then,
And then
and
what?
then you just show them there's another way. They bring their families to visit our farm here.
Oh.
That's beautiful.
So, yeah.
All right.
When they see your love for the cows, then they must look at the cow at least a little different deep down
Little-
inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I feel like going out to the farm for 2 months.
Me too.
Oh,
Live from the Bhakti Farm 108. It's Kastuba walking
we'd love to have
around.
you.
I could see Kastuba in that in the South German lederhosing,
With the cow.
a little high leather shorts with suspenders and a
Suspenders.
cow stick and one of those lederhosen hats, herding the Brown Smith cows. Thank you for joining us, Yamuna Jelly. We love you, and now you've inspired me and Mary. We're going to look at her and
Go
see
rescue some
out there.
cows, you two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were gonna say, that you inspired us to get a cow or two.
My daughter's been pushing for the cow.
Oh,
would be
I'll
great.
teach you
It would
how
be
to do
great.
it. I would
Yeah.
love to teach you how to
Oh,
do
we should
it
bring-
and
okay.
encourage
All right.
you.
Let's talk about this.
Let's bring Sachi.
Yeah, maybe Sachi should go out there to the Bhakti 108 farm. What is it called again? The farm?
Bhakti Farms.
Bhakti Farms. That's a good name. Bhakti Farms. Okay,
Bye,
Yamuna, we
Shishika
love
Name.
you.
Hare
Love to the
Krishna,
devotees out
thank you
there.
so much.
Amazing.
Thanks for all that you do.
I mean, look at all that she
Haribol,
does.
Hare Krishna.
She's
I'll send
got
you
a,
some. I'll send you some butter.
oh, over here. Don't forget me. Don't send mine to Raghunath. Send mine to me.
Yeah, no, just send Kastuba's mine. I'll give it to him sometime.
And
Any
some more
other- any other
apple
promotional
butter and the plum
materials?
chutney. These are some of my favorite. And the apricot.
Oh,
As much as you want to
I'm
send.
taking notes.
Okay.
Send me a calf.
Got to get it to me before I go to India.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tatojayam madirayat. Before we start in the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord, Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu badreshu nityam bhagavat seva bhagavati uttama shloki bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Agyanaptimarandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmadatam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 15, Text 55. Woo!
I just had to say about Yamuna. She runs a farm and takes care of the cows. She's got a restaurant. She runs the whole LA Rathiacha thing.
She's a parent, a wife.
She's a parent, a wife. She is a sage group leader. Sometimes she's had up to 2 sage groups. There's a person, that's a person that's not in Maya, like they're keeping themselves engaged in service.
You know what? It's keeping yourself busy within Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
If not, you'll just keep yourself busy with other things.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just time wasting, just playing video games. And sometimes it's just busyness of the material world that gives you some little payoff, but nothing. She's getting eternal payoff right now. And, she's living that lifestyle, which is, it's quite wonderful. Because it's sort of like when we read these books, we're supposed to not just read them. It's supposed to change us, change the way we move, change the way we live, change the way we work. And so when you see someone embracing that, it sets such a beautiful example.
So true, Raghunath. Okay, you ready?
So true. Yes.
Now, Raghunath wrote me a little note. I saw it just before getting
Did
on
you
the
read
show.
it?
Yeah, okay, enough of all this Vedanta stuff. We got to move on.
We gotta move on.
Well, I
Yesterday's
got
show,
news
man.
for
I
you.
love you to death, but I feel like a lot of this stuff is just okay. It's like, when are we going to argue with Mayavadis for the most of our demographic? Now, there are people that are very philosophical, want to get to the bottom of this, but it's not even everybody. It's just that's even narrower. A lot of people are like, I accept sweet baby Krishna as my Lord. Now let's just move it on to something. I just felt like it's good, and you explain it very well. But I just feel like let's push
Well, I got news
through.
for you, Raghunath.
What?
Narada wants to stay right there in Vedanta.
No,
That's
not
what I was
no. Well, if it does, I'm taking it to some other levels.
No, forget lower levels. That's not called
Higher
taking it to another
levels.
level. That's called dragging it down.
Lord Krishna's sweet
No.
pastimes.
It's different though. Don't worry. We're going to be good.
Arthur
But it's a
Decker.
little complicated. Raghunath, I spent 3 days with these verses trying to understand what is going on. And then it started to reveal itself.
Yeah, it
Which is
revealed,
a
it
fascinating
revealed itself to
process.
me already. Last week, I was already revealed. It was
All
revealed.
right. Well, then you explain them.
Yeah. Snake is not a rope. Rope is
No,
not a
these
snake.
next verses. These next verses.
Uh,
All right. So Narada is winding up his teachings to Yudhishthira. We're almost done. And now, he's been saying the world is false. Like, don't get into the poverty mark, right? Don't try to enjoy the world because it's false. Then he just said, actually, it's real. And now he's going to say again, it's false. It's like he's dealing with these nuances of looking at this world as real and looking at it as false. And he's going to shift into a place where he says it's false. And you have to connect, you have to see oneness in 3 different ways. It becomes real practical. Like, how can I apply all of this Vedanta philosophy in my practical life? And he's going to say 3 ways to see oneness as you serve in this world that's coming up. But first, he's going to talk about how we're not in a sense, how the body and the world are unreal. That's coming right now.
very interesting. Text 55. This gradual process of elevation for self-realization is meant for those who are truly aware of the absolute truth. After repeated birth on this path, which is known as Deva Yana, one attains.
We're on text
we're on
59,
56.
Raghunath.
Oh, 50. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I read that. In this world, there are 5 elements, namely Mara.
Earth, water, fire, air, and ether.
She just read that. Okay. But the body is not a reflection of them, nor a combination or transformation of them. Because the body and its ingredients are neither distinct nor amalgamated. All such theories are insubstantial. Because the body is formed of the 5 elements, it cannot exist without the subtle sense objects. Therefore, since the body is false, the sense objects are also naturally false. When they say false, they also mean temporary. It's false in the sense like my body appears to be like a male body, but actually my body is just a bunch of elements: earth, water, fire. You see that.
Yes. So you just read 59 and 60. I was trying to say, what is it trying to say here? That the body is not that, okay, there's these 5 elements that make up the gross body, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. And that the body is not a reflection of them, nor is it a combination of them. What do you mean it's not a combination of them? By saying it's not a reflection of them, it's saying that it's not unreal. And by saying it's not an amalgamation of them or a transformation of them or a combination of them, it's saying that it's not real. Or it's saying that it's not, it's saying that it's not unreal and it's not real. Well, what is it? And I was trying to get to the bottom of this, and I was reading different commentaries, and it took 3 days. It finally started coming to me. Now, this is Jiva Goswami in his commentary. He begins to speak to this. Now, just take this in, Raghunath. You ready?
Ready.
This is good stuff. He says, one makes, and I've edited this slightly just for ease of reading. One makes the mistake of thinking this is a body because the parts are situated in one place with a common support, and because one perceives each part as one with the whole body. So he's saying, when we look, and I look at you and I say, oh, there's Raghunath, there's the body, that's Raghunath. There's a mistake there. But what do you mean? Isn't that a body, and isn't it a combination of elements? That thing right there. Now he quotes Bhagavatam 11th canto to help explain this, and this is part of he's sharing this so that when we're moving through this world, we kind of understand that we look for something solid in this world. We look for a solid home, a form that we can take shelter of. We look for a solid spouse, someone we can hold on to. We look for, we're looking for shelter in a world of solid things. What he's saying is there's, in one sense, in this world, in one sense it's real, but in another sense, it's in a constant state of shift, and therefore it's unreal. So he says,
the solid is the subtle.
oh, thank you.
The solid. We're looking for something solid. I like that. Hold on to a spouse. Hold on to a home. Hold on to our bank balance. I want to take my money out of the bank. I want to get all gold. I want to hold on to that.
Something real,
solid,
tangible.
Something tangible.
Yeah.
The solid actually is the subtle, because the solid, what appears to be solid, melts.
And the subtle is actually the solid, like the spiritual realm is actually what's real.
Yeah.
There you go. The subtle is the solid is the subtle. Okay, so here's the example. He quotes, we make a mistake when we say this is a body, because all the parts are situated in one place with a common support. It seems like it's, a combination of parts have taken on one form. So then he uses this. He says, although the flame in a lamp, although the flame is continually changing, Krishna says this in the 11th canto, although the flame, or let's say although a flame is continually changing, foolish people say, this is the light of the lamp. Though the river is continually changing, people say, this is the water of the river.
Interesting. There was a Greek that quoted this probably hundreds, if not thousands of years after this statement.
What did he say?
He said you can't
Jimmy the Greek?
stand in the same you can't stand in the same river twice.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Very same idea. What is a flame? A flame is a stream of burning gas, right? If you look at a flame and then you come back a minute later, or even a second later, and say, oh, there's the same flame. It's not the same flame.
It's like a photograph of a waterfall. You can't catch it appears like you could just catch it. You can't catch a waterfall. It's always constantly
It's gone.
changing.
As soon as it's there, it's gone.
Right. But our body is like that waterfall, but it's just going so damn slow you don't even notice it.
And of course that time is relative too, right? But so neither a flame nor a river can be said to be a fixed object. Yet we speak of our bodies and our homes and our spouses and in our families and in our possessions as if they're fixed objects. They're not. That's what he's sharing, right? So he says, I'll read it again. Although the flame is continually changing, foolish people say, this is the light of the lamp. Though the river is continually changing, foolish people say, this is the water of the river. Similarly, the material body of a human being is constantly changing. Those whose lives are filled with lack of discrimination say, this is so, and this is so and so. They lack discrimination and the words to express it. Okay, so good and bad, and then Jiva Goswami goes on, good and bad, the categories of good and bad. And of course, I want to share this too. Often when we're in these realms of Vedanta and they say good and the bad, it's not a moral question. Good, like when the sun's out, we say, oh, it's a good day. And when it's cloudy, we say, oh, it's not such a good day. Good and bad meaning pleasant and unpleasant, So good and bad, the categories of good and bad, and thinking oneself to be a brahmana, etc. Like, in other words, social identities, conceptions of pleasant and unpleasant, they exist like perception while in a dream. This is how these verses should be understood. This is what Jiva Goswami is saying. So one should neither praise nor criticize the conditioned nature of the activities of other persons. Rather, one should see this world along with Prakriti and the Jiva as one with the Lord. This is so key, and this is where Nard is going. If nothing in this world is fixed, but I'm trying to grab onto see my body as a fixed object, see my home, my spouse, all these as fixed objects, but they're not. What is it that is fixed that we can actually hold on to? He's saying, see all of this changing, shifting energy as one with the Lord. It's all God. So that way I can be, there's something steady. There's a thread that's holding everything together that doesn't change. That's God. And when you get that, then when you look at when you look at another person, you see God. When you look at your home, you see God. When you look at the river or the flame, you're always seeing that this is God's energy. That's what does not change. And that consciousness, you can carry that consciousness into your changing world and into your changing identities and into your changing duties. That's where we're getting here now. Like, the whole topic was, what are the duties of a householder? And Narda's saying, understand that you are living in a constantly changing world, and there's only one thing solid, and that's that it's all God's energy. Now go carry out your duties in the ever-changing world with an awareness of that, and you will be liberated, just like the sannyasi who walks away from the world.
Strangely enough, and not because we planned it, this has a lot to do with what we were saying earlier about hating a person for their behavior.
Yeah.
And like a guru or someone who's got liberated vision sees actually everybody's body is changing, but everybody's mind is changing. Therefore, to condemn somebody not only for their past, but even could condemn somebody for their present behavior isn't appropriate if you want them to really change.
You can condemn the behavior.
Right, you condemn the behavior, and you see them as a pure spirit soul doing condemnable activity. But who are we to sort of, what's the word? Condemn, disempower a person from change by holding them to their present activity. If you really care about people and you really want to make some social change in the world, you have to see people for much bigger than they even are behaving. See them for their beautiful potential that they are. And what happens is, when you find a person, if you're on the other side of that, when you find a person that like believes in you and is tolerating you and is looking past all your shortcomings, you want to sort of step up to that. And that's how people change in this world. You're not seeing them for their behavior any longer. You're seeing them for some beautiful potential that everybody has.
Oh, thank you, Raghunath.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Okay.
Right. Text
All right.
60.
So now text 60 is just going to extend this observation that if we can't really say that if the body is real and unreal, right? Because if the body is just like a burning flame or flowing river, and in that sense it's unreal, you can't grab it. Well, then the same has to be said for and what is the body but like a collection of senses? Then the same has to be said for the objects of the senses, or the world that we're moving around in. It's also composed of the same elements, and it's also burning like a flame, right? It's like the whole world is burning like a flame, in the sense that it's, or flowing like a river, that it's intangible and impossible to hold on to. So if the body's like that, then the world is like that. That's basically the point to the next verse.
61, ready?
60.
60?
Yeah.
We just read 60.
Because the body, you did read it. That's right. You read both. Okay. So anyway, that's explained.
I can help you, Kostuma.
All right. Text 61.
Let me guide you.
Thank you, Raghunath.
When a substance
Where
and
are we
its
going?
parts.
Where are you taking me?
Just hold my hand and shut up. When a substance and its parts are separated, the acceptance of similarity between one and the other is called illusion. While dreaming, one creates a separation between the existence called wakefulness and sleep. It is in such a state of mind that the regulative principles of the scriptures, consisting of the injunctions and prohibitions, are recommended.
Okay, so that right there, that last sentence, It is in such a state of mind. It's in this bewildered state of mind. It's because we're in illusion. It's because we're granting reality, solid reality, to constantly shifting energy, that we need to, that our life in this world, and are achieving the objective of life in this world, the yogic objective, it becomes well served by regulative principles that are outlined in these sacred texts and certain injunctions and prohibitions and so on. It's for this, it's not just because you're going to go to hell. It's so that you can see reality as you're moving through a constantly shifting world, right? That's why we need injunctions and prohibitions and regulations and all of these religious or yogic kind of guidelines. So shaming someone into not following them, as you're saying, because they're bad or sinful, it's kind of just like a warped idea of what these prohibitions are about. The idea is that they're going to help us regulate we mentioned, I think it was last week or something, like take marriage, right? Marriage is like, it's saying, okay, you can continue to engage in the world and you can continue to invest your emotions and your attachments even into this other person, but we're going to limit it to one person instead of like unlimited number of people, right? So
I want to enjoy everyone.
Okay, so Narda is about to launch into how to move through this world as a person in illusion, how to move from darkness into light. Those verses will follow tomorrow, but let's read this commentary here, Raghunath, to wrap up today.
To 61.
Yeah, at least the first. At least the first paragraph. Maybe we do both.
In material existence, there are many regulative principles and formalities, right? If material existence is temporary or false, this does not mean that the spiritual world, although similar, is also false. That one's material body is false or temporary does not mean that the body of the Supreme Lord is also false and temporary. Right?
This is what we're talking about yesterday.
Yeah. The spiritual world is real, and the material world is similar to it. For example, the desert, right? For example, the desert, we sometimes find a mirage. But although the water in the mirage is false, this does not mean that there is no water in reality. Water exists. It's just not in the desert. Similarly, nothing is real in this material world, but
nothing real in this material world.
But reality is in the spiritual world.
Nothing real is in the material world, but reality is in the spiritual world.
Yes. The Lord's form and his abode, Goloka Vrindavan, in the Vaikuntha planets are all eternal realities.
Okay.
Interesting.
So yes, so just because this world is constantly shifting doesn't mean that there's not a realm. The fact that we're looking for something solid in this world is indicative of the fact that there is something solid. Who was it that British Christian writer who wrote those famous books? C.S. Lewis. I think it was C.S. Lewis that said, the fact that I desire eternality must mean that that eternality exists. The fact that I desire, like he kind of drew that kind of logic.
He must have read the Bhagavad Gita.
I don't know.
Serious.
But then Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita here, texts 19 through 21. Why don't you just read the translation?
Again and again, the day of Brahma comes, and all living beings are active. And again, night falls. O Arjuna, and they are helplessly dissolved.
That's the cycle of creation and destruction on the universal time scale.
Yeah, it's happening to the birds and the bees, but now it's happening on a much grander thing for civilization is the bigger cycle. It is supreme, and it is never annihilated.
No.
Yet there's
there's another nature which is eternal and transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme, and it is never annihilated. When all annihilated, that part remains as it is. The supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, They never come back. That is my supreme abode. The material world is a reflection of that spiritual world. The material world is temporary or false, but the spiritual world is an eternal reality.
There you go.
Very interesting.
So,
It's
yeah,
almost just like hearing all this stuff and then applying it to life. You'll start to realize, oh, yeah, that was a false concept of happiness. Yeah, that was a false concept of security. Yeah, that was a false idea of, I'm going to live a long time, or this was a false idea that I possessed this. As you apply this to your life, it starts revealing itself to you, and you lose faith in the material world. Like, we all have faith in the material world. The material world's going to deliver. You're just not working hard enough. You just haven't found Mr. Right yet. You don't have the right position in your career. You just haven't eaten the right superfoods. You just haven't done the right exercise yet. You just haven't been to the right island yet to enjoy it. The material world works really good.
that was just like an Instagram feed just right there, right? It's just like you'd hit each one of those as you scroll through.
Check.
Someone telling you
there's
one
an
of these
island,
things.
and then there's you like skydiving or something, or I don't know.
Then all the exercises now, they don't use any weights or anything. It's like all the body, right? It's like
all
those
body,
things, like you do this kind of stuff. Lift the leg and the left leg and right arm, then lift the right arm and the left leg and get your
Yeah, weightlifting, that's old school. Yeah. Anyway, the point is, you're not doing the material world wrong. The material world is false. There's no win. The best you can do is maintain your body, be healthy, love people, be kind to people. But when you lose faith in the material world, then the whole spiritual world comes. Now, how to be in the spiritual world within this material world. We've just been trying to make a sandcastle comfortable. No, you don't make your hotel room comfortable. You're in a hotel room. It's a temporary place. You're going to be there for a couple days. Don't redecorate. Don't change the carpet. Don't buy new linen bedspreads. Right? You're only there for a couple days. Just keep it clean. Right?
keep it clean.
Keep it clean. Keep it organized, and do some inner work.
Nice, organized. Nice. And just to go back to yesterday, just super quick and brief. The essential difference between how the Advaitin sees this world and how the Bhaktivedanta sees this world. They see it as entirely illusion. And the Bhaktivedanta see it as God's shifting energy, right? Okay. God's eternally shifting energy. And so in that sense, it's all one with God. And tomorrow, we're going to hear about how to take the vision of oneness into your worldly duties. Narada's going to instruct. All right?
Beautiful.
All right, Raga.
Mara, takeaways.
Take it
You
away,
got
Mara.
the squirrel ready to go, huh? You just play it?
Oh, wow, you thought I was going to squirrel off? Put your squirrel down.
I'll put down the
The
squirrel.
squirrel's interested. What's going on here?
Educate through love.
Educate through love.
Mm.
You
Oh, yeah, I
can't
get
change-
that goes back
yeah.
to
You can't
Yamuna's
change
way of
someone through
yeah.
shame.
By the way, if you do go
Charts.
to the Govardhan Eco Village with us, one of me and my family, especially my children's greatest joys is packing a rubber snake. And talk about the rope as a snake thing, because you're expecting a snake because you're somewhere. Yes, it is a squirrel. You're expecting. We leave that rubber snake all over the place, and people lose their mind.
You're so childish. It's like absurd. It's like, why are you even talking about that right now? You're so excited and thrilled by it.
Yes.
You know, I'm watching Candid Camera, which was when I was like, when I grow up, I want to do my own Candid Camera.
I know the
Never-
problem is you try
never
to turn
quite
this
did
show
it, but
into
now
it.
everybody's doing pranks. It's like the whole world is a Candid Camera now. Now
See,
there's some
that's-
really crazy stuff too. That
that
stuff that
revealed-
killed.
That revealed so much right there. It's that like Raghunath wanted a silly television show. How does that play out into this podcast? Like, okay, Mary. Mara gave up. She
You ever
started
think
knitting.
like you're like, oh, I'm looking for a co-host for this Bhagavatam class. Like I'm looking for somebody who's like, gonna bring like a little candid camera
Little can of camera too.
entertainment into it.
A little good slapstick humor. Perhaps some stuffed animal puppets for my Bhagavatam podcast.
There you go. Okay, Mara, please continue.
We're looking for something.
I started this.
We're looking for something solid. The solid is the subtle.
Solid is a subtle. That is a good one.
And the subtle is a solid.
Mm.
Subtle is a solid.
Flames and rivers and people are continually changing.
They sure are.
Flames.
Bodies.
God is the unchanging thread holding it all together.
There you go.
Carry God consciousness into your changing world.
Bring it right on in.
Carry it on.
See people for their beautiful potential.
People who need people.
The most beautiful people in the world.
Luckiest
The
people.
luckiest people.
Lose faith in the material world
Already done.
and finding Mr. Right and eating the right superfoods. And
Yeah.
Lose faith in the material world.
yeah.
You know what? I think that's it. We still have faith in the material world. Maybe you get to a point in old age or disease where you're like, you know what, this place sucks. But we lose faith in the material world, but we gain faith in the spiritual world. That's the difference.
Well, that's
I
the,
guess there's
that's,
people who've just resigned to die. This world is
that's the key when we go through difficult times in life. It's not meant to break our faith in God. It's actually meant to break our faith that we're going to find happiness in the material world. All right, Mary.
And
this better be good.
don't redecorate your hotel room.
No.
Yeah.
Don't redecorate it.
Nobody does that. I
Well, I
once
did, like-
redecorated my hotel room.
What's
I
that?
was staying in Kerala at that what is that? I'm not even the name of the place, but
Varkala.
in Varkala.
Jellyfish land.
I was staying in a guest house there, and my wife and I had just come from Guruvayur, and somehow we had this poster of like the famous elephant, Keshava the elephant from Guruvayur, right? And we hung that up in the room
Huh.
because people are really into that elephant, and all over Kerala he's famous.
Yeah.
And now his successor, Padmanabh, the elephant, is also famous. So we hung that up. Then we came back next year, and they hung pictures of that elephant in every room. Like the people that ran the place. They said, oh yes, this hanging the elephant is a very good idea. We should do this. So sometimes redecorating the hotel room, it pays off.
Speaking
Has
of
lasting effect.
South India, I got an echocardiogram yesterday.
We're gonna, you know what?
No,
I'm
this
going to
is-
ignore your story just like you ignored mine.
No. This has something to do with it.
Okay.
And so the guy was Indian who was doing it. He started looking at all my tattoos, and he goes, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Where are you from?" I go, "I'm from
You tell
New
me
York."
first.
He goes, "Where are you from?" He said, "I'm from India." I said, "What part?" He said, "Kerala." And immediately I looked at his name tag, and he had a Christian name tag. I was like, "Oh, he's one of those Christian South Indians."
Well,
So
in
we just
Kerala-
both sort of like looking at each other, like who's going to preach to who about. And so we just stood there in silence, just like observing each other. He's like
Raghunath, where's-
seeing Lord Ram on my arm.
That's where you need to bring out the kindness.
The kindness. I did have kindness, but they don't want to be preached to. They want to preach to you.
No, well, I didn't say preach. I said bring out the kindness.